my number 2 is a game called Assassin's Creed Syndicate on the Xbox One, PS4, No, it's just PS4 and Xbox One and PC. You've played this, right?
No, not at all.
Okay.
But
no, I didn't think so.
Yeah. No, it's the first Assassin's Creed game I haven't played, in fact. And I'm actually interested to play it not because I want to play an Assassin's Creed game necessarily, but I do quite fancy bombing around London. So tell me about why it's better than Unity, other than the fact that it's not as broken.
Yeah, I mean, there's numerous reasons, really. I mean, after Unity, I wasn't expecting a great deal from Syndicate, to be honest, but it's a really admirable return to form, and it's a game that almost feels like the blueprint of it was kind of was all of the negative reviews written about Unity. They've said that they were really listening to what fans said, and they've clearly done that. It's a really tactful crowd pleaser. I don't necessarily think it's going to win over any new fans. I don't think if you've never liked Assassin's Creed, this is going to win you over. But it reminded me regularly, why I've enjoyed so many of these games in the past. The best thing about it, perhaps, is the fact that the story is so simple. There's a villain who is the most cartoonish bad guy in the history of the series. He talks about himself in the third person, and he's got these foot soldiers that dress head to toe in leather, and they've got these red armbands with the Templar symbol on it. I mean, it's like ambiguity is nowhere to be found. He's like the bad guy, but I'm all for it. It beats, clandestine meetings with hooded people in a basement. Assassin's Creed has always tried to be, it's always prided itself on being convoluted, and this couldn't be any less complicated, and I think that's really great. There's a couple of MacGuffins. There's a load of London boroughs. Go and liberate. Off you go. There's no messing around. And there are several genuinely likeable, really well written, well conceived characters in it. Not least the co-lead, whose name is Evie. She's her and her brother are the two lead characters. He's just a bit of an idiot, really, to be honest. And but she's like ties with. Edward, I think it was Edward Kenway, who was in Black Flag, as the most appealing protagonist in the series so far, I think. There's just this really nice, really renewed sense of fun about it. The traversal, especially with this grappling hook, which is straight out of the Arkham games. But it just means you can move around London quickly, and you feel like you've got great options when you're escaping from conflict. There's also your base of operations is on this train that moves around London. You can get on and off trains. It's dangerous, but you can do it. And some of the best action scenes take place on trains, and they're really just fun to sort of. There's a great stealth mission on a train as well. But you can also cross the Thames. There's a couple of occasions where you need to cross the Thames using all of these boats that are coming in and out. And it's like playing Frogger, but it's so much fun. You forget how fun the traversal in Assassin's Creed was always supposed to be enjoyable, and this really reminds you of that. And when you're bouncing around through, on ships across the Thames, and then sabotaging and like sort of unhooking cargo and stuff, just fucking people over and then jumping across, it's just fun. It really has brought that back. In Unity you could bring up the menu and not be able to move it properly because there were so many icons on the screen, and that they've got rid of all of that. There's no chests. The microtransactions are buried so deep that you'd have to be really, really, you'd have to be really desperate to use them. They've really gotten rid of it. There's even a new Ubisoft system which I groaned as soon as I saw it. It's called like Club Rewards or something. I said, would you like to? And I was like, no. And all it is you can spend old Uplay points that you didn't realise you had on like actually good equipment. I was like, oh, okay. And it's so easily done. You don't have to sign up to anything. You just do it, press yes, and then it's done, and you can use the currency. It's really, really user friendly. The plot's really good. I just there's no the side missions are not rubbish either. The tailing missions and stuff, there's so much less crap. It's just been streamlined, and a lot of the missions are really, really memorable. There's some really memorable side missions as well. Liberating the boroughs is great. There's this new sort of thing where you have to go and rescue kids from like warehouses and workhouses and stuff, and you're just skulking around in the dark. It's classic Assassin's Creed. It really this is another reminder of why the series has become so beloved. There's just not much fat on it. And then whenever you liberate a borough, you have to fight the person who basically runs it. And there are kind of shades of gangs of New York because you all walk up to each other and have a massive fight in the street. I mean, like they never go on for long enough because you're normally leveled up, sort of, if not too high, then at that level. And you kind of want there to be a massive scrap in the street, but they don't quite last long enough. It's just I found it fantastically entertaining. After I finished it, I've gone back in almost every day to just sort of do other stuff and have found it as entertaining as everything in the main story. It's still a game that's hamstrung by its development cycle. I mean, all of these games are. There are a few systems in it that feel like they're kind of placeholders that you sense maybe would have been returned to if there was enough time. And there are a few glitches. I mean, I had one mission where enemies wouldn't attack me and I was supposed to have a fight with them, and then you occasionally see NPCs doing weird things. It's not Unity, but if this is your first Assassin's Creed game, you should be prepared for it, because games this large aren't supposed to be made this quickly. This is the case with all of these games, and as good as it is, and it is very good, it does feel lightweight in comparison to stuff like Metal Gear 5, for example, because it doesn't have that level of polish, and I really enjoyed it. And when Unity came out, people said about France that it felt alive, and I still don't understand what they meant by that. I couldn't believe that anyone could think that place was alive, because it was just a load of French people standing in the street screaming the whole time. When you're walking around London, if it's in the morning, and it's got a day-night cycle as well for the first time. All of that normally day and night was it's mission specific normally, but now there's actually a cycle. And if you walk over, you can see in the morning, like grumpy commuters walking to work over the Thames, and if you go to Nelson's Column, there's people cleaning up and stuff. And I was walking behind a pub, and then there's drunks in the afternoon just starting having a fight, and there's these little pickpockets. But this genuinely feels like a place, and you can see funny stuff just wandering around. It feels much more like the older Assassin's Creed games, which is to say, not like Unity. So yeah, it's far from perfect, and it's not going to win any converts. But boy, oh boy, I enjoyed it.